I mean, the Golden State Valkyries didn't just beat the Las Vegas Aces, they kicked their whole ass. 68-95. The Las Vegas Aces can only score 68 points with the squad that they have. What is going on in Las Vegas right now?
The Las Vegas Aces. Yes, the same squad flexing 4 U.S. Olympians and 3-time MVP A'ja Wilson just got steamrolled by a whopping 27 points. And the team that handed them the beatdown? None other than the Golden State Valkyries. Meanwhile, their once-overlooked rookie Kate Martin is living it up in San Francisco, possibly sipping a smoothie while grinning at the box score. Because not only did her new squad wreck the Aces, but she did it while thriving in her upgraded role. If you support Kate, comment Money Martin down below. Let's go.
All right, I got to give a shout out to Golden State Valkyries because boy, did they put an ass whooping on Vegas. Boy. And I'm not talking about some 15-point win. No, this is a 4-quarter, 27-point spanking in front of a sold-out crowd in Golden State. Vibes was immaculate. Love to see it.
But let's talk about the delicious irony here. While the basketball world still kneels before A'ja Wilson like she's untouchable hardwood royalty, her team is coming apart faster than a cheap IKEA shelf. And suddenly, the dots are connecting. Kate Martin may have been the secret ingredient all along. The glue, the motor, the backbone that held the Aces dynasty dream together.
On paper, they should be kicking everybody's ass. Literally everybody. Like, A'ja Wilson put the entire Aces on her back and is doing everything she can to help her team, and it's just not going anywhere.
You can't argue with the numbers. A 95-68 smackdown, Vegas's worst loss since 2023, and it wasn't at the hands of a defending champ or a super team. No, this was an expansion team, a squad that should still be learning how to pass the ball straight. Instead, they were running laps around Vegas like it was practice. This wasn't a bad night. It was a full-on implosion. And it all started when Kate Martin's name got read at that expansion draft.
Lost a lot, okay? And so I was like, yeah, we gotta wait. Give them time. But we didn't set up here and lost by damn near 30 to an expansion team? Come on now.
Remember when the Aces left Martin unprotected? The media yawned. The franchise shrugged. Even A'ja Wilson delivered her now infamous "it is what it is" dismissal, like they just lost a backup water bottle. But here's a reality check. Business is measured in wins, and without Kate Martin, Vegas has been doing a whole lot of losing.
Our rookie from last year, okay, Kate Martin, the Iowa girl, you know what I'm talking about, who rolled in this thing with Caitlin, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, when she was coming on our bench last year, she was the Valkyrie, okay? And she had more boards with 7 than the best player in the world had with 6, okay? Also, Kate Martin, to make it even worse, had more points by her damn self than Jackie Young and Jewel Lloyd put together. Kate had 12. Them girls together had 9. The hell is going on?
The real story is simple. Las Vegas got arrogant. They figured plugging in Jewel Lloyd would instantly patch the hole. They believed A'ja Wilson's MVP mojo could carry the whole load. They miscalculated. Kate Martin wasn't just filling a spot. She was energizing the entire operation. Even A'ja admitted as much. Martin was the truth teller in the locker room, the hustle queen on the court, and the spark that fired them up when things got tight. That's not a role player, that's your engine. And now, she's revving that engine in San Francisco while Vegas stalls out at the starting line.
Our interest in the Valkyries, whatever you want to say, like, if anything, even if it's just a passing interest, there are people that are interested in the Valkyries. And they destroyed the Aces. I mean this when I say this. The Aces, I've never seen the Aces look this bad before. And the Valkyries are for real. They're 3-5 on the season, but they play so hard.
Let's break down the latest meltdown against the Valkyries. A'ja Wilson, who's constantly paraded around as the face of the league, dropped just 17 points on a pedestrian 5 of 13 from the floor. Jackie Young, a ghost on offense, she chipped in a meager 8 points on just 1 made shot. And Jewel Lloyd, The supposed spark plug they brought in to replace Kelsey Plum? A brutal 6 points on 1 for 8 shooting. This is the championship DNA everyone keeps hyping? This is the dynasty they keep bragging about? Coach Becky Hammon had seen enough and didn't sugarcoat it. "I'm not coaching effort," she declared. "That's on you." Translation: when a coach has to question your will to play, you don't have a roster issue. You've got a locker room crisis.
Yes, has there been a common denominator, a similarity between those games? The one was in Seattle, I believe.
Yeah, following people around defensively, being really soft mentally, just letting people come out and punk us, hit us, grab us, and us whining instead of buckling down and saying like, okay, that's what's going to be, then let's go. And I told them in there, I said, we have effort has to come from your heart. The schemes, the discipline, the habits, that's your head. And right now, we not only have a heart issue, but it's letting us affect our head issue. But I'm not going to coach effort. It's just one thing I can't deal with. You're in charge of your effort. I guess I'm in charge of your playing time. So that's the one way I can affect it. But, I've never been a coach to pull for mistakes, but I will pull for effort.
The Aces were down by 21 at the half and never even sniffed a comeback. They surrendered 95 points to a squad still figuring out how to run a franchise. The 27-point spanking was their worst loss since they got bulldozed by 38 points against the Liberty back in August 2023. But the most embarrassing part? That Liberty loss came when Aja had an off night with just 9 points. This time, she actually scored 17, and they still got steamrolled. While the Aces are soul-searching and catching L's from rookie franchises, Kelsey Plum, shipped off by the Aces in the offseason, is out in Los Angeles putting on a masterclass. In her Sparks debut, she went nuclear, dropping 37 points, setting a WNBA record for the most in a season opener. She was lights out, going 11 for 19 from the field and flawless at the line.
I'm sure Kelsey Plum won't never come out loud and sit here and say she happy to be the number one dog, not be able to drive her own car at her own speed. But you could tell in her body language that she was absolutely happy to be able to do what she want out on the floor and just really get to her spots, really run her team the way she want to. And she showed you she can be a lead dog, 37 points for your first debut as a LA Spark, man. Hats off to Kelsey Plum.
And it wasn't just the buckets. Plum made history by becoming the first WNBA player to rack up at least 35 points, 5 dimes, and 5 steals in one game. That's not just a good start. That's rewriting the stat books while your old team is busy rewriting excuses. Even better? She did it against the Valkyries, the same team that handed the Aces their recent humiliation. The same squad that had Hammon questioning if her team even had a pulse. Plum lit it up and sent a clear message. Sometimes you don't realize how much you've been held back until you finally leave the cage.
Plum led the team with 28 points, 6 3-pointers, and 8 assists. She has been on a tear to start the season. I'm low-key surprised she has been mentioned in MVP talks. Granted, Nafisa Collier is my pick to win MVP, but I definitely think Kelsey Plum should get some love.
The Sparks needed Plum to jolt their lifeless offense, and she's delivered in full force. She's averaging 25.2 points and 5.5 assists per game, splashing threes at a sizzling 43.4% clip. That's not just a bounce back, that's MVP material from someone the Aces once labeled a complimentary player. Now here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Aja Wilson's been skating on borrowed credit. For years, she's gotten the superstar shine while her teammates did just as much of the heavy lifting. But now that she's the clear top dog, the cracks are starting to show. She's been held under 20 points in 4 of the last 5 games. For perspective, she only had 3 such games all last season. If you're truly the best in the league, you don't disappear when your squad is desperate.
And while Kelsey's success hasn't yet translated into overall success for the LA Sparks, not seeing as many wins as we'd assume with the amount of stats that she's putting up, she is exactly what the Sparks needed. She's able to read the floor, make plays, also being a very consistent offensive force, and she's Kelsey Plum. And so after ESPN's article came out, the conversation around MVP and Kelsey Plum have been sort of happening at the same time. With a lot of people saying that while it may be way too early Kelsey Plum is currently leading that race.
And the eye test? Brutal. Wilson's playing like someone carrying too much weight, forcing shots, overthinking every possession because deep down, she knows this team isn't championship caliber anymore. Her stat lines look decent, but the team is 4-3 and just took back-to-back humiliations. That's not elite leadership. That's putting up empty numbers while the ship takes on water. Remember when Wilson openly admitted the vibes were off? It wasn't a championship locker room, she said. Out the gate, going into training camp, I was like, we ain't got it. Well, newsflash. If you're the franchise centerpiece, the 3-time MVP, the locker room culture is your responsibility. If things feel off, it starts with you.
Time for a shot. Martin, fire away!
And because the basketball gods love irony, guess who's coming to town? On June 11th, the Aces will host the Sparks. Yep, Kelsey Plum is making her return to Vegas. Not just as a visitor, but as the captain of a team playing better ball than the so-called dynasty she left behind. The Aces already gave her the warm tribute video, hugs, and standing ovations on her first trip back. Cute. But this time, she's coming back as a rival star who's outperforming A'ja Wilson. She's putting up better numbers, she's leading her team more effectively, and she's doing it with the kind of effortless confidence that says, yeah, I made the right move. When asked about life in LA, Plum joked that figuring out DoorDash is harder than basketball. That's the energy of a player who's winning on and off the court. Meanwhile, Wilson's stuck dealing with brutal losses and a team that can't even keep pace with an expansion franchise.
Yeah, when she played with the Wings and even when she played with the Sparks, like, she is one of them bully ball. Oh, like she just plays so strong, so aggressive on the defensive end, on the offensive end, making those dives for the loose ball, like just using her body to its fullest capacity. But I do love the way that Kelsey Plum helped spread the floor because Derrick Henry really didn't have to go in the paint and really do a bunch of even though she did get a double-double, but she didn't have to do crazy Mama D type of banging. And because like last year to get the Sparks to win games, Mama D was down that thing putting in the work. She had to put on her hard hat and had to put in a lot of work.
Let's pull the lens back and get a broader look at what's unfolding here. The Las Vegas Aces strutted into the 2024 season wearing back-to-back championship crowns from 2022 and 2023 like they were invincible. They bet the whole house on A'ja Wilson being the cornerstone of a dynasty, assuming everyone else was just riding shotgun. But here's the thing. Championships aren't built on one person's trophy shelf. They're forged in chemistry, culture, and role players who fill in the cracks perfectly. The Aces had that magic formula with Kate Martin and Kelsey Plum. Martin brought poise, toughness, and clutch gene energy. Plum? She was the flamethrower who bailed them out when Wilson went cold or the offense hit a wall. Together, they were the kind of championship glue you can't replace at a clearance sale. But instead of keeping the squad intact, the Aces handed Martin to an expansion team and traded Plum for Jewell Loyd, who's currently putting up the kind of stats you'd expect from a backup with the yips, not a star. And it's not like the warning signs weren't there. Let's rewind to the 2024 playoffs. The Aces got bounced in the semis by the Liberty before even sniffing the finals. That should have been the red alert. Instead, they hit snooze, doubled down on Wilson, and let two championship-caliber pieces walk out the door. And now they're watching as the wheels fly off the bus.
With Kelsey Plum being one of them, she now plays for the LA Sparks, after playing 6 seasons with the Las Vegas Aces. And while it's super early into the season, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, Kelsey Plum has been thriving in LA. She's currently averaging 25.2 points per game, currently the second highest in the league, followed only by Napheesa Collier. She also has a career-best 5.5 assists per game. And while Kelsey's success hasn't yet translated into overall success for the LA Sparks, not seeing as many wins as we'd assume with the amount of stats that she's putting up, I mean, she is exactly what the Sparks needed. She's able to read the floor, make plays, also being a very consistent offensive force, and just, I mean, she's Kelsey Plum. And so after ESPN's article came out, the conversation around MVP and Kelsey Plum have been sort of happening at the same time.
Here's something that should make Aces fans break out in a cold sweat. The Vegas betting markets have moved on. A'ja Wilson is no longer the darling of the odds makers. The money is pouring in on teams that have actual balance, deeper benches, and leadership that doesn't crumble when adversity hits. Teams with, oh, I don't know, players like Kate Martin and Kelsey Plum. Because those two, they got it. They understand that basketball is about more than highlights and headlines. It's about doing the little things that turn good teams into great ones. Meanwhile, Vegas seems stuck in delusion, clinging to a superstar narrative that no longer holds up under the weight of the scoreboard. The Aces didn't just lose a couple players, they lost their edge. They let ego override reality, thinking they could coast on star power alone. They forgot what made them scary in the first place: their cohesion, their hustle, their ability to rely on anyone from 1 through 5 to come up clutch. Plum and Martin weren't just important, they were irreplaceable. And now that they're thriving in new cities, the contrast is impossible to ignore. Wilson, who's now expected to carry the whole franchise on her back, looks less like an MVP and more like a solo act. Bombing on stage while the rest of the band has moved on to sold-out arenas elsewhere.
But, like, we're seeing AJ Wilson getting Ronda Rousey. The Ronda Rousey comparisons. Not the Ronda Rousey. Like, this might be, in my opinion, the most disrespectful thing anyone's ever said about AJ Wilson. She reminds me of Ronda Rousey. Put 2 H's in Ronda Rousey for no reason. But when the competition wasn't that great, she looked like a megastar. But now with these new players up and coming and the quality of WNBA, she's looking very mediocre.
This 27-point beatdown by the Valkyries? It wasn't an outlier. It was a wake-up call. You don't get run off your own floor by a brand new franchise unless something is seriously broken. It's like a rookie chef walking into a Michelin star kitchen and cooking circles around you. At some point, you've got to stop blaming off nights and start questioning the blueprint. So yeah, you better believe Kate Martin is laughing, graciously, but with good reason. She's not bitter. She's validated. She always knew that greatness isn't just about big names and stat sheets. It's about building something sustainable, something that works under pressure. She didn't leave the Aces. The Aces left her. And now they're discovering what life looks like without their heart and hustle. Spoiler alert, it's ugly. The Aces thought they were giving up expendable players such as Martin and Plum. Turns out they gave up their heart and soul. And now? Now the whole league is watching them get checkmated by teams they once looked down on. The question isn't whether Kate Martin and Kelsey Plum are better off. That answer's in the win column. The real question is how long the Aces will pretend they didn't just make the biggest blunders in franchise history. At this rate, that moment of truth is coming fast, and it might just arrive before the final buzzer sounds this season. If you support Kate, comment Money Martin down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.